Yeah, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the interview preparation session on 18th of today by 360 DGTMG. So, yesterday we have been seeing some of the interview preparation questions regarding Python. So, I have also told you something about technical rounds and how to crack them. So today let us see some more questions regarding the same topic Python using this technical round and all. So yeah, we'll just jump into the session now. So as we start the session, the first question I'm giving you is actually there are many functions, many loops, many other statements in Python. So yesterday we have seen some of them about indices, about runtimes, about errors, about functions and all. So today we will see some more of them by starting this session. So uh, what are indices means and what are negative indices? This is my question to you. So you please take a minute of time and uh, try to be pinging the answers in the chat box. I'll be seeing them, and after a minute we'll discuss the answer. Yeah, now seeing the answer for this, what is this negative indices in Python? Now for knowing about this negative indices, let us firstly take a list of either it may be an integer, either it may be a float, either whatever it is. We'll just take a integer value from 0 to 8. So negative index, unlike a positive one, begins searching from the right onwards, which means the negative indices starts from the right side, which means it comes in anti-clockwise direction. It comes from 8 to 0. So I have been given as my list of -3. So for a positive one, will start from 0 1 2, and for a negative index will start from 8 7 6. So for a positive index, the starting value goes in a clockwise direction and it starts from 0 onwards, where 0 indicates 0, first indicates 1, second indicates second, and so on. Whereas coming to the negative index, the first starts from -1. So it represents the 8 value, which means the last integer of the row. So if I have been given as a -3 here, so I'll get an output of 6, because this is -1, -2, and -3. So I'll get an output of 6. So this also helps with slicing from the backside, which means -6 on -1. So -6 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 and 8. So this is about negative indexing. As coming to the next one, how does the remove function helps in programming? Yesterday we have discussed something about remove function, right? How it usually works in Python, and how it is helpful to us. So in programming, how this remove function might will get helpful to us, and what kind of functions does it do in the Python? So the same thing, I'll give you a minute of time. You please keep on texting your answers in the chat box. I'll be seeing them, and we'll discuss the answer in a minute. Yeah. And now let us discuss the answer how this remove function helps in the Python programming. Okay. See, suppose I have chosen a data set which consists of three uh, three variables: apple, banana, and cherry. All of these three variables comes under same fruits, right? So from this variable, by using the remove function, uh, I am giving the command as this list which has chosen an this list dot remove banana. So it tries to remove the banana, which the second this one from the variable set which I have been given. So now if I print this list, then I'll get an output as only apple and cherry. I do not get the banana as a included variable in my this list column, because I have been removed this by using a remove function. So this is how we use the remove function in Python programming. Now, as coming to the next question, what is a Python set? How do we use them in the Python? So I'll give you a minute of time. You please ping me in the chat box. I'll be seeing your answers and we'll discuss the answer in a minute. Now, what is a Python set? See, sets actually not only in Python, in any of the mathematical foundations, any of the mathematical rules and all, sets are basically used to store multiple items in a single variable, right? So set is one of 4 built-in data types in Python. Okay, to store the collections of data, we basically use three data collection types. There are list, tuples, and dictionary. As we discussed yesterday about these three uh, and their representation, I think you have been attended the yesterday's session. And these three, list, tuple, and dictionary, all the different qualities and usages. A set is nothing but a collection which is unordered, unchangeable, and unindexed is called a set, and which is mostly used in Python. Okay, as coming to the next one, what are the benefits of using Python? So yeah, we have been using Python since a long time. So what are the main features of using this Python? Why we should use this Python? So I'll be giving you a minute of time. You please text in the chat box. I'll be seeing your replies. After a minute, we'll just discuss about this answer. Yeah, yes, Hussein and Salini, what you have been told is absolutely right. And the benefits are as compared to the other programming languages, this Python is very easy to use. It is an interpreted language. It is an it is an open source. It is very free of cost, and it extensively supports for libraries, and it is portable. So these are the main benefits of Python. Okay. Yeah, yes, yes, Alini, what you have been told as right, but these are the main benefits of Python, why we are using this. Okay, yeah, as going to the next question, what is the main difference between the .py and .pyc files? Which means we would have saved the files in a Python. We would, as in C, we will save the files in .c format. In Python we save the files in .py format. And pyc files. So what is the main difference between them? Yeah, now let's discuss this answer. Uh, yeah, the .py file are the Python source codes files. These are the files which have been used for Python source codes. Whereas coming to the .pyc files, it contains the bytecode of a Python files. It just contains the bytecode of Python files, but .py format files are Python source code files. So .pyc files are created when the code is imported from some other sources, which means we have been imported from one source to another source or packages, right? So these were being created while importing them. The interpreter converts the source py files to .pyc file, which helps by saving time. It is a the interpreter itself converts this .py file to py file. This is the main difference between them. So the next question is, what is actually slicing means in Python? uh, I'll give a minute of time. Yeah. Uh, what is slicing actually means in Python? Yeah, trimming. Yes, it's right, Hussein. Slice, actually, the main definition is slicing is used to access some sequences like a list, tuples, and strings. The slicing, it uses a syntax called start, end, and step. Uh, in this syntax, we can neglect this step and we can only use the start and end. Okay, because this returns all the elements of sequence from start till the end minus one element, which means it gives the every element. It does slice about every element. If the start or end element is negative, it means the first element from the end, the step indicates the jump or how many elements have to be skipped. This is the actually slicing is also for used only for trimming, but this is the main definition for it. So as coming to the next question, uh, what are keywords in Python and how many keywords are present in Python? So I'll be giving you a minute of time. You please pinging me in the chat box. I'll be seeing all your answers, and let us discuss the answer in a minute. Yeah. Now as coming to the keywords of the Python, we actually have 33 main keywords in Python. Keyword in Python are reserved words that have special meaning. See, every keyword in Python has its own meaning. See, if we use if else statement, if has its own meaning, else has its own meaning, true has its own meaning, lambda has its. These all are the keywords. I'll also tell you what are the 33 keywords we use in this Python. So each and every word has its special and own meaning. So they are generally used to define types of variables. Keywords cannot be used for variable or function names. Okay, they cannot be used for variable or any function names. Totally there are 33 keywords in the Python, and there are and, or, not, if, else, for, while, break, as, def, which definition is lambda, pass, return, true and false, try, with, assert, class, continue, delete, except, finally, from, global, import, in, is, none, non-local, rise, and yield. These are the 33 keywords in the Python we use in this Python. So as coming to the next question, see what are all literals in Python, and explain about different literals. So how many literals are there? What are there? How are they useful for us in Python? So you please pinging in the chat box. I'll be seeing your reply and let's discuss in a minute. Okay. Yeah. Now, as coming to this literals, there are different literals we use in this Python. So what is literal? A literal in Python source code represent a fixed value for primitive data types. It represents a fixed value for primitive data types. And in this Python, we use five types of literals. And there are string literals, character, numerical, Boolean, and literal connections are further classified as four types. Okay. Now, as coming to this string literals, what is a string literal means? A string literal is created by assigning some text enclosed in single or double quotes to a variable. So actually, if we declare a variable in Python, it must be in single quotes or double quotes. If we don't give these quotes in the Python code itself, then it just throws an error to us. uh, so to create multi-line literals, assign the multi-line text enclosed in triple quotes. So we have to use triple quotes. Okay. Now, as coming to the character literal, it is created by assigning a single character enclosed in double quotes. So in this character literal, it should be only a single variable which is enclosed with a single quote. Okay. Now, as coming to the numerical literal, this include numerical values that can be either float, integer, complex. Example as we have taken as a 50. Okay. Now, Boolean literals. Boolean actually stands for either the statement, whether the given statement is either true or false. It has only two values, either true or false. That is the only literal, that is the main function of this Boolean literal. Now, as coming to this literal connections, there are further classified as four types. There are list, tuples, dictionaries, and set. Okay. Now, list. What are this representation? What are the tuples representation? Dictionary. What is the dictionary representation? What are the set representation? These are the literal collections. Okay. Now, how to combine data frames in Pandas? So, data frames. What are data frames? How do we combine it with Pandas? I'll give a minute of time. You please check, write in the chat box. I'll be seeing your answers. We'll discuss it in a minute. Yeah. Now, how to combine data frames in Pandas? Yeah, the data frames in Python can be combined in following ways. Okay, these are the ways how we combine the data frames in Pandas. Okay, concatenating them by stacking the two data frames vertically. Now, concatenating them by stacking the two data frames horizontally. So, which means we have to concatenate the data within horizontally as well as vertically, and combining them on a common column. This is referring as join. So, what is concatenation? The concat function is used to concatenate two data frames, and its representation is pd dot concat data frame 1 and data frame 2. Whereas if we take only a single data frame, we can we can use only pd dot contact data frame. If we are, so here we are combining the both the data sets, either it might be in a horizontal plane or it might be a vertical. So here we are combining both the data frames, so we have to use data frame 1 and data frame 2. Now, as coming to the next one, what is Python path? So I would give you a minute of time. You can ping me in the chat box. Have been seeing your answers. We'll discuss this answer in a minute. Okay. Yeah. What is Python path? See, it is basically an environment variable which is used when a module is imported. So this Python path is basically an variable. This is used when we are importing some functions or libraries and all. Whenever a module is important, Python path is also looked up to check for the presence of imported modules in various directories. So in the background part, after we have been importing some kind of data, at the background part, this Python path will checks all the directories. The interpreter use it to determine which module to load. Okay, totally a step-by-step process. It also, yeah. As coming to the next one, what are local variables and global variables in Python? I'll be giving you a minute. You can ping me in the chat box and I'll be seeing your replies. We'll discuss the answer in a minute. Yeah. What are local variables and global variables in Python? Now, as coming to this, local variables. Global variables, variables that declare outside a function or in global space are called global variables. These variables can be accessed by any function in the program. As coming to the local variables, any variable declare inside a function is called as local variable. So you can find out the difference, right? Global means we are declaring the outside a function. Local means we have to declare inside a function. So this variable is present in the local space and not in the global space as this local variable. And as going to the next one, what is the difference between the Python arrays and Python lists? What is the main difference between them? I'll be giving you a minute. You please go through this and We'll be discussing this in a minute. Yeah. Now, as coming to this, what is the difference between the array, Python arrays and list? Arrays and list in Python have same way to storing data. These both arrays and lists which are used in Python are of same function. They omit a same function called storing a data, but arrays can hold only a single data type element, whereas list can hold any data type elements. This is the main difference between them. Both arrays and lists are used for storing of data, but the main difference between them is this array can hold only a single data type, whereas the list can store any data type of elements. So, as coming to this next question, what are functions in Python? We'll be getting back in a minute. Yeah. What are functions in Python? A function is a block of code. It is nothing but it's a code which is executed only when it is called. To define a Python function, the def keyword is used. Okay. uh, this is a put function in Python. As coming to the as jumping into the next question, what is in init underscore init underscore means? What does it means? Yeah, what is this function means? Okay, so this is basically a method or constructor in a Python. This is basically a method in a Python. This method is automatically called to allocate memory with a new object or instance of a class is created. When a class is created, it directly allocates a memory location, automatically calls a allocated memory when a new object or this class is created. All classes have its int method. Okay, each and every class has its own int method. So what is self in Python? How it is useful to us? I'll be giving you a minute. You can ping me in the chat box. I have been seeing your replies. Yeah, we will discuss the answer in a minute. Yeah, as coming to this, the next question, the answer of this question is, yeah, what is self in Python? Self is an instance or an object of a class. Okay, it is basically an instance or an object of a class. In Python, this is explicitly included as the first parameter. However, this is not the case in Java. It's very in Java and Python are very different languages, different programming language. This self function does not be almost same in as compared to Java, where it is optional. It helps to differentiate between the methods and attributes of a class with local variables. Okay, uh, the self variable in the int method refers to the newly created object, while in other methods it refers to the object whose methods are was called. So this is the function of this. This is basically an object of a class in this Python self function. So what does this function do in Python? I'll be giving you a minute. We'll catch up in a minute. See, this function is used to reverse the order of an array or a sequence. So now let me give you an example. Okay, suppose I have been importing a array as ARR. Okay, now my array is equal to ARR dot ARRAY of I, comma, square brackets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have been taken an example of first 5 numbers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let me use this function. Now I'm using this function, my ARRAY array minus 1. Now after using this function, I'll get the output as array braces I, comma 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which means I have been given input in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the output I had got was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it basically reverses the order of an array of a sequence. Okay, I'll coming to the next one. How do you write comments in Python? How actually we write the comments in Python? See, now comments in Python we have to, if we want to write a command in Python, we have to use a character, special character called hash. However, alternatively, at times committing is done using doc strings enclosed with triple quotes. Okay, we can use some of the special characters like hashtags, double quotes, singles, triple quotes for using this command. Now, how will you capitalize the first letter of a string? How do we capitalize that? Now, in Python, this capitalize function method capitalizes the first letter of a string. It basically capitalizes the the very first letter of a string. If the string already exists and consistent with a capital letter at the beginning, then it basically returns the original string to back. Now, what is a doc string? Yeah, a doc string. Doc string is a documentation string that we use to explain what a construct docs. We place it as the first thing under a function, class, or a method to describe what does it does. We declare a doc string using three sets of single or double quotes. This is the main function of this doc string, and the representation will be using a single quote, double quote, or triple quotes. Now, what is a recursion function? As coming to this, when a function makes a call to itself, then it is termed as recursion, which means by calling itself, self-calling function is called as recursion function. But then in order for it to avoid forming an infinite loop, we must have a base condition. Okay, yeah. How is Python different from Java? See, both are of same programming languages. Each has its own importance. So what is the main difference between Python and Java? I won't even say that this is the main difference, but these are some of the main differences between each of them. So among them, the first one is Java is very faster as compared to Python. Okay, Python mandates indentations, Java needs braces. Python is dynamically typed, Java is statically typed. Python is simple and concise, Java is verbose. Python is interpreted, Java is platform independent. Java has stronger database access with JDBC. Okay, so this is the last question we have been discussed for the day. And yesterday also we have been discussed some basic questions on Python. So today also we have been discuss some more questions on Python. So tomorrow also let's be going some more deep into the Python, how the loops work and all more questions and queries. We'll just, so this is for the day, and thank you for joining session. Please be working on these questions. Not only this, but also try to uh, go and browse some of the interview questions from use Telegram apps. You have many input sources how to crack an interview in a technical round, right? So you could take those inputs and you could please go forward. Yeah, thanks for the day. Thanks, people.